Hey, what's up, YouTube? Kevin here. Nothing gets new. It's kind of the theme for me always. Working on Tone's car, doing some shift linkage, doing some wiring, plumbing. Lots of stuff going on with this thing. Kind of in pieces right now. I'll show you what I'm working with tonight. I kind of do a bunch of stuff with different cars and different stuff going on. I got my buddy's truck. It's an old F-150. He had a chassis and stuff built by Fat Fender Garage. I'll show you that thing in a video or two. We're going to start doing the floor pans and we'll paint the firewall, paint the inside, stuff like that. He's leaving it kind of patinaed on the outside. We're going to just satin clear it and kind of scotch up all the trim on it, give it that kind of cool look. Pretty cool truck. Coyote swapped already. So we'll be showing you that. But working on Tony's Impala, 60 Impala. Done a lot of work to this thing. A little bit of work left to go. We're going to start wiring and some other stuff. Right now I'm just kind of tinkering with the shift linkage. I ordered some stuff for it that I need to get started on a couple other parts on it. So I figure I'll knock out this shift linkage. What I got with that, just got done putting the column in it and all that stuff, but I'll show you what I got for pieces for the shift linkage and try to figure it out. He had it chromed and stuff, so I'm just kind of guessing kind of how it goes together, and we'll kind of play with it and figure it out. Let's check it out. These are the pieces we've got that I was able to scrounge up. Some of this car is in another shop, some of it's here at mine. He's had a couple people working on this thing, helping him out throughout the years. Getting this thing together. So he had the shift linkage chromed, which is pretty cool. As far as I can tell, everything's here for it. It is missing a couple of set screws there. I'll kind of mock it out and take that with me to work tomorrow and go by a hardware store or something, see if I can find some stainless set screws for that. Kind of looks like this goes on the transmission, and this is the nut for it. And I think this is the lock nut that goes in there once that's on. Just kind of looking at some pictures online. Needs to go up here onto that piece here. Part of the rod goes on there. And the other piece goes kind of somewhere down there. If we can make it zoom in around there. There we go. Just a straight rod up. I'll go underneath and start adding some pieces to it and figuring out where we need to put it. We got the shop kitty out here again, checking on me. It's telling me to get to work, so let's get to work and see. Crawl underneath this thing. I don't have it on a hoist. So from what I can see is this little guy screws on there first, I guess. This little nut goes in there. Maybe? Came with a couple different nuts, so, oh, there we go. Yeah. Maybe. Kind of fits a little loose, even though that's bottomed out. So, I think, see how deep that is. Kind of deep. Might have to machine that down just a little bit on the end, I think. Let me grab the other one and see what it looks like. Okay, I got the other nut over here. I'm gonna take this one off. I was just looking to grab a wrench for this stuff. I kind of noticed that on the chrome. They, they sand this stuff down and polish it, and they add some plating to it and stuff. So it's kind of weird that some of, wrenches either fit loose or don't fit at all. There's either metric or standard. Nothing really seems like it fits. So I'm gonna try this other one in there and see if it bottoms out a little bit better on it. Shop kitty's in here yelling at me again. That seems like it does its thing. And then it has this nut, I'm guessing, or this bolt that goes on the end to kind of bottom out. Kind of like a rocker arm, like a rocker arm lock or something. I'll wait to put that on. So that's on. Let me grab the arm and a piece of the linkage and kind of see which way it's going to project. Okay, I did just grab the shift linkage and I was kind of messing with the hardware. And this nut that they had chromed that fits in there, that the linkage goes from the other side through, this is able to adjust. You know, you're able to move that nut up and down. But it fits pretty tight in there and doesn't adjust at all. So I'm actually going to have to grind 2 sides of the chrome off on this. I'll show you that real quick. We'll make it fit in there and slide and work real good. Then we'll throw it in on the transmission and see what it does. Okay, I got these aluminum, they're little hood prop pliers for when your struts are bad, on your hood struts. You can put this in there and keeps it from falling down. So I'm gonna use those because they're soft on the tip, and I'm gonna put that nut in there because I don't want to mess up the chrome the chrome on what I don't want to screw up. I'm just gonna do each side, just barely touch off on it a little bit to make it fit in there. I have to put on sunglasses. I can't find, oh, never mind, I found them. Got my goggles. Gotta have that in your ear protection. Just do a little touch off on the grinder. I know they say don't use the side of the grinder or the grinding wheel and stuff. Just a light little pressure. Probably not ideal, but it works. Okay, see how this fits. I just ground down just a little bit there. Just a little bit there. Just enough to knock off the finish. I didn't go very strong at all on it. So let's see if that fits in. Oh yeah, perfect. That gives me enough to slide in there. I can adjust the rod how I need it so they match. Get the shift linkage adjusted, you know, so depending on the throw on the shifter is how much you need to throw on a transmission. So we'll put that in there, kind of check it out, see what it does, where we need to go from there. I'll show you. Okay, actually this was a little bit easier. Had to put the nut in there, the washer, the heim joint, the washer, and the bolt. I tried putting it in underneath. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So I set it or put it together outside the car. I'll slide underneath there and kind of just set it in there and see how it looks and fits. Okay, here's the piece. It looks like it just slides on over that. Right in there. We'll check that out. Does look like the rod is a little bit far out, so I'm going to pull this off. Move the rod up just behind the booster a little bit. Set this thing on there and kind of look and see. So that is up in park. That's park. First, neutral, drive, 1 or 3, 2, and 1. So back to park. And let's put this down. Get this back up. And it is spot. Okay, there it is. So it kind of connects where that green wire tie is there. The rod's just touching it. So that's the bushing for it. So I'm gonna go up there, and since there is an adjustment on this rod, I've got it all the way bottomed out. Got it all the way bottomed out on that side. And I'll set the other end up to where it's bottomed out all the way, get a kind of a rough idea where it's at. Make a cut on the rod because it is a little bit long. It's a kind of a cut to make. I will make sure that the column is in park. Check that out. Let's do that. Okay, column is all the way up. check that out. Get in here, see if we can find it. Let's see if we can make this work. Just ordered a tripod, actually two, a small one and a long one, because I don't know, I kind of want to see what I can do with this. I kind of, you know, I watch videos where guys do the same stuff and I enjoy it. So that's why I want to make these videos so people can enjoy small little tinkering, maybe get ideas. You know, and that's where I got a lot of my ideas, is just from watching other people and, you know, really looking at people's cars. Everybody has different tastes and different ideas, and it's cool. It's creative, and I love that. So I'm going to try to get my phone to stay somewhere. Maybe. Probably not. Probably not. I'm gonna probably have to do this off. Can't do it one-handed. I'll get it marked and pull it out and we'll cut it together. Okay, this is how it's laid out to go on to the steering link, or the steering column shift linkage off the shaft on the column. So it takes a bolt, washer, heim, washer, bushing, it's like step 2-piece bushing, and then we got another washer and this nut, but I don't really like that. I don't really want to sandwich it down tight. I want to get it just snug, so I think I'm gonna take this with me also tomorrow, and I think I'm gonna find a stainless bolt and a stainless nylock. I'll figure out how far this needs to go, if I need to get a little bit longer bolt for a nylock or what. I'll figure that out tonight, take that with me. I can polish the end of the stainless up, not a big deal. It takes just a couple minutes. And the nylock nut too. So I like that better. That way it won't come off and it's not too tight where it's gonna screw stuff up. So I'm gonna put this together and put it onto the steering column, onto the shift shaft, and then make a mark and we'll cut the rod. Yeah, the more I think about it, I think I'm gonna do the same bolt and nylock on this end too. I just wanna give it some security and just know that it's not gonna come apart and that it's gonna work good. So we'll do a stainless bolt and a nylock on that one. This, the rod was extremely too long, so I couldn't even get it close to the deal. So I'm still keeping it long. I'm gonna make a cut right there. That will get it down close enough to where I can make a more closer mark for the cut. So I'm gonna cut that off, put it back in there, and line it up to the other heim joint and make a more permanent mark on it that I can cut. So I'll cut this off real quick and we'll get back at it. Okay, I just put the rod in the vise. I just use an old welding glove, protect the chrome. Got my mark there, just use a little cut-off wheel. Show you how it's done. Gotta have your safety gear on. Getting older, harder to see, harder to hear. Everybody says I have a listening problem anyways. Clean and easy. We'll take this to the little sanding wheel here. Just kind of round it off so that way we don't cut ourselves. Clean up the edge. That way we don't have a burr. Okay, just putting this back in here on the transmission and kind of figuring out our next little problem we have is the rod doesn't quite line up there. See if we can zoom in on that, on the piece. it goes into a bind to get it that way. So what I'm gonna have to do is on the rod, I think I'm gonna have to give it like an S bend. But that kind of changes stuff, how we adjust it. We'll have to take it apart to spin the ends to adjust it now. Because the rod is not straight and you can't just spin it to adjust it. So a little bit more into it there. But I'm gonna figure out where and how much I wanna bend it and do that real quick. We'll move on. I'm just kind of worried about the chrome on it peeling, so we'll see what happens. Okay, got it over at the vise. I'm just gonna shove it in like this to about, I think about right there. Give my, 2 to 3 inches from there. And I'm gonna bend it out maybe about, I'm gonna start out maybe about 15 degrees. Just slightly bend it out and see where that brings it. Because I wanna have the heim joint, see how it bottoms out either side like that. I wanna get it to where it's pointing straight at the other heim with this squared up, not off to the side. I wanna get it as squared up as I can. That way it's gonna function the best. I'll do a little bend and then we'll shove it back up in by the transmission. Okay, you can see I put it up against the edge here. As you can see, I just barely bent it out. The heim twisted on it a little bit, but just barely bent it out. Start there. It did kind of wrinkle the chrome on the inside a little bit. Not too bad. I think it'll be okay. Kind of at this point, it is what it is. If we got to take it and get it re-chromed, we will. Otherwise, I think it'll be all right. So I'm going to bolt it back up on the trans and see where it points to. Okay, I got it up in there. You can see where it wrinkled it a little bit, but it definitely rests a lot better right close to there. So I think I'm going to give it just a little bit more. That way down here on the ball will be squared up a little bit better. Give it room to move around properly. I'll do that and come right back. Okay, last try. I've got it where I really like it. I ended up taking it off a couple more times. The heim is pretty close to the middle. I ended up bending it a lot more than I thought. And the chrome popped on it and flaked off, but luckily this thing is stainless underneath. So once I get this mocked up, cut where I need it, I'm just gonna run the buffer down it, the polishing wheel down it, blend it in. Shouldn't really see it. Even without doing that, you almost don't even see it. So I think it'll be all right either way. It pretty much projects right at the nut on that. So I'm gonna go up top and mark the rod where I want it, and we'll cut it again. And we'll kind of mock it in there and see. I think this is a winner right here. So let's do it. Okay, I got it marked right there. So I've already taken this much off. So we'll take that and about a half more off. So overall, probably about, I'd say 5 inches or so we've taken off of this thing, or we're gonna take off of it. It just kind of goes to show, when you buy stuff, when you're building a car, you can't be afraid to cut stuff up. You got to be able to drill holes, brand new or not, doesn't care how much money you spend on it. Don't be afraid to cut stuff up to make stuff work. People sometimes are so afraid of that, and you just have to just go into it and say, F it, let's do it. Do you want to make it work or not? Let's cut it and fit this thing in there. Yep, this is art. You just gotta create, make it happen. Okay, pretty happy with this mock-up now. Get a good angle. So now the heim is in a pretty good spot. where it's got room on the top, room on the bottom. I think as the rod goes down, it'll actually make it straighter. There, you can see, connects in there. And I'll show you what I do. I'm gonna grab my Sharpie and where the set screws go, I'll make some marks in there, and I'll actually take my die grinder and cut little notches on those spots there, so the set screws will sit deep into the rod, so that way even if you reef on it or something, it still has something to catch on, like a little tooth or something. Otherwise, sometimes the set screws can come, can slide off the shaft. So we'll cut some grooves onto the shaft. Set screws will kind of key into it, give it a tooth and a bite. Tomorrow I'll get the set screws, and I'm gonna do new bolts on it and nylocks. I'll do that in stainless. I'll polish them up. We'll do that. Let's go up top, check it out. Okay, got that up here done. So I'm just gonna go around to the backside and mark it with a Sharpie like I was talking about. You can see I have the master cylinder off of it right now. The fittings on the wheel wood on the bottom were leaking, so I'm trying some new fittings. I took the master off so it wasn't just sitting there dripping on the car. Pretty cool. We got this front drive put on it from Vintage Air. I did have this piece powder coated by Brian at Dark Matter. Everything's going there, good there. I did make some aluminum tubes. I go over to the heater box. I got them pre-bent and everything. We'll do the video of what I'm gonna do with them next, because I'm gonna sand them and polish them, crimp them together, or not crimp them together, but tie them together with a strap that bolts over here. We'll weld them, repolish them, put them on. I've got some nice ends and clamps that go there. Should look real nice, nice hard line polish to go with it. Yeah, I'll show you that in the next video. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I worked on that for about hour and a half or so, kind of right in there. Gonna spend a little time to tidy up and clean up the shop some more. We got a ton of stuff to do on Grumps Impala. I got stuff that I want to do on this thing right here, and there's the cab for the Fat Fender garage truck that my buddy got the chassis for. So we're going to work on that over the weekend, get the floor put in that, cut out and whatnot. Yeah, I want to say thanks to the people who subscribed. That was pretty cool. I'm just making some videos to have some fun. I'm going to have some friends over. Just kind of do what we do. These are the videos that I watch at night, when I'm relaxing, to see what people are doing, how creative people are getting. I've been farting around in the shop for a while, so I figured, why not make some videos and have some fun with it, So if you like the video, like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next one.